Welcome to episode 2 of the Roku era for NWA. This week, I have Katie Rose with me instead of my good friend Logan Frazier from the old Georgia Heat podcast. Katie and me got a mutual friend, Mr. Rodney West, who of course I did the Georgia Indie podcast with. So Katie's a big NWA fan. Katie has been on here before, so Katie is really returning here to the NWA Hour of Power podcast.
Super glad to be on, Trey.
Yes, you were mad. You weren't on last week. You're like, hey,
I was waiting for you to send me a message and be like, "It's your turn."
Well, me and Logan were deep in conversation from the first episode last week. Hey, and speaking of that, I think they did a great job, kind of recapping episode 1, and right before matches came up for the tournament. It's keeping the viewer kind of up to date with everything. Hey, if you missed last week, this is what happened. Hey, if you just don't remember what happened last week, this is what happened, right? Okay.
I know I have a lot of stuff that happens through the week.
Yeah, you forget what happened.
I can't always remember the matches.
It's a quick hour. All I really remember from last week, so much has gone on, is Brian Idol winning that television title, which they reminded us of.
They did.
And they reminded us, and hey, Carson Drake is still out there. But we'll get into that. Let's get into the first matchup. And it's Talos and Daisy Kill getting the win against Zia Ion and Frank, which I like to call him Judas. Now, you know all about Southern Honor, even though you've never even been to Canton, Georgia. You've heard me and Rodney talk about it a lot.
Yes.
This guy was champion for a very, very long time. I believe David Ali was the guy who finally took it off of him in Southern Honor.
I remember David Ali.
And so Frank, he's the big dude.
Yes. Yes.
I call him Judas. That's what he was. And then it was Jedias. And now
I think I remember him then.
Yeah.
He kind of looked familiar, and I was like, he must have been on other NWA shows, but
he feuded with the guy who I thought would make a great addition to NWA. Well, they call him MLW. They call him Mads Kruger. But we called him Logan Creed. And then Cool.
Yes.
So he feuded with Jedias. Judas, whatever you want to call him now, Frank. But anyways, every time I see him, it just it dawns on me. Oh, I've seen that guy.
They
so many
kept talking
times
about
live.
Frank, and I was like, "Who the heck is Frank? Where is Frank?" And I'm like, looking around the ring.
Am I getting this wrong?
Frank.
Isn't that Zia Ion's tag partner? And that's what they call him now?
Yes. Yeah, they call him Frank. Frank.
Yeah, it's very strange. But anyways, either way,
I'm not the only one who thought that was very strange.
But it seems like, the Daisy Kill and Talos are just getting this, I don't know, they get this up and down push where they push them and then they don't.
Yeah.
Talos seems to be, just the ending of the match has me thinking that Talos is going to get some kind of singles run eventually. He's just so huge. He's so big. He moves around so quick for his size. I know you've talked about it on this podcast before. He's an excellent talent.
One of my favorite NWA wrestlers. He really is. And I think I mentioned before, he kind of reminds me of The Undertaker, and somebody, it might have been Logan, was like, oh, well, he played The Undertaker in Young Sheldon or something.
Oh.
He made some TV appearance as a young Undertaker.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. That's interesting.
So that made me chuckle, but seeing him in a tag team, it works. It's a little bit like David and Goliath matched up.
Yeah, I like it. Daisy Kill is like the little guy who's with the bully, and he's like, yeah, you tell him, kind of shit. But Daisy is, he's a great talent too. They make a great tag team. I wasn't sold on them from the beginning when I first saw them, but the more I watch the NWA product, the more I really get in to their tag team. So let's move on. Talos and Daisy Kill move on into the Crockett tournament. And then we have,
there was definitely a woohoo, they got it.
yeah, I was pulling for him too. So now we have these segments with Joe Cazana. He is the territory president now. And I'm thinking, like, what is this building to? Because it seems to go back to Kenzie Page and the Crossfire promotion. And I'm watching this go down, like, I don't know. Then Thrillbilly gets mad, storms off, makes a ridiculous accusation about him being a dictator, basically.
And he was
Mims
fired
follows
up
him.
too. I thought he was gonna like take a shot at Joe Cazana.
Yeah, I thought so too. But yeah, he storms off. Joe Cazana playing this role perfect as a shit heel manager, basically.
Yes.
And the crowd's going to give him hell a little bit later. But him and the country gentleman are laying down the law here in this segment. We're wondering where this is building to. We go back to Kenzie Page. And I believe it is one of her relatives, maybe her brother, that helps her run the Crossfire promotion, is over there. She's talking to him. They're going back and forth talking.
Didn't she say dad at some point? I thought she said dad at some
Well, the
point.
whole
Like the
Page
whole
crew is
family is
involved
kind
with the
of there.
Crossfire. Her
Yeah.
father was a former professional wrestler, and I know that from just watching the Billy Corgan reality show.
Nice.
So, anyways, that moves on. I'm kind of scratching my head. I don't know what's going on there. We go to that, and then we get a recap of the unbelievable finish with Brian Idol finally capturing the television championship. We recapped it last week against Carson Drake. A great ending to the first episode, but Carson Drake tries to make his case to Joe Cazana of why he deserves this rematch against Brian Idol. So you look for that to continue, Carson Drake and Brian Idol. I like that feud. They mesh very well together. I love the sequence of moves of how Brian Idol, hit his finisher last week against Carson Drake. Carson Drake, a great old school heel. I always enjoy seeing him on screen, and he does great promos. So this is a great way to build up their
those
rivalry.
two are in a match together, you're just going to be entertained the whole time.
That's just
right. Just from Carson's hijinks in the match and just the dancing before the match and everything. So we get a recap of that. We go back to more Joe Cazana president segments.
Wasn't he
What
up
is
to
going
like
on here?
200,
Where's this
like rule
building
number
to?
200 or something? He just kept
I've got a
rattling off
theory what
rules.
this is building to. And it goes
Okay.
back to something I was talking about last week.
Okay.
So we get a lot of build between Kenzie Page and Markova. And it really builds up to this photo shoot. They're going back and forth. She slaps her. It's a whole big ordeal. They're really building up for the main event of the show, which I really, really like. That's something they didn't do in previous Powerr episodes. They recap stuff really, really well. And they also gave you something to want to stick around and watch for the main event. Because it's building up between these two ladies. And basically, the way they book Markova, I feel like she's possibly the next one to take it off Kenzie Page, because she is getting a title shot, as everyone knows, at NWA 77 for the NWA Women's Championship. So this is building up nice. She's taking on her sister, Kylie, and then, moving on to Kenzie. But we'll get to that. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Look, I told Katie before I went on air, I am doing this in my closet. I wanted to try it out, and maybe this wasn't the best idea, because usually
You know what?
but
You
the
just
sound
got to
quality
get the
is great.
setup right. You just got to get the setup right.
I got to get you got to get all the kinks worked out, basically.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I'm getting a new
I'll
ring
try
light
not to
tomorrow.
move. I'll try not to move too much, so that way it won't fall over again. But so far we've done a great job recapping this, right?
Yeah.
I took all of my notes on my phone, of course, and
I
I'm
do
using
that,
my
and then I'm
phone.
like, I can't. I'm recording on my phone, so how can I look at it? So I just jotted down some stuff.
I wasn't thinking.
Brighton would be very proud.
Very.
All right, let's move on to this next.
Proud of NWA.
Yes.
One of the things I did notice tonight, you know, in the production now, they have the guys coming out to an intro with the crowd there.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
And they didn't really do that before. Like, you didn't
Well, in their
really
studio
see it.
shows, they did these like cinematic entrances where they actually film them way before the match, and yeah, that
Yeah,
kind of
it was
takes away
that
from
was
wrestling. That's what you like about wrestling is them entering.
right.
But now that they're
I
doing
mean,
these
half of the
tapings,
Undertaker's matches were
Him
yes.
walking in.
Well, I think, but now I don't think you're going to get that as much because they're filming these big events like
yeah.
Shockwave or an NWA 77 Hard Times, and
Oh.
they're just breaking them up into episodes. It'd be like WrestleMania if it was
Yes.
broke up into episodes. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Or a big WWE pay per view PLE.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the next Crockett Cup match, and it is Joe Cazana, who is all over this episode of
Oh,
Powerr.
man.
A guy who I've done graphics work for JCP. Excellent guy, nice guy. I don't care what he does on screen. Super nice guy.
Heel or
And the
not.
country gentleman, the former U.S. Um, NWA Tag Team Champions. They're going to take on Mike Mondo and Slade. And I like this tag team. This tag team had a Steiner Brothers ish vibe to them. Just
Yes.
two big dudes, just throwing people around,
I
lots of
mean,
strength, lots of amateur moves. I enjoyed this tag team.
if you really take a minute to look at right before they go into the ring, they're just both like, "Arr," and like every muscle is like visible, and they are just it. It's the old school wrestling. Like, we don't see guys like this in the bigger productions anymore,
Yeah, they
and
were jacked.
they were huge,
Yeah,
and
they
they,
were.
like you said, they just threw everybody around.
And that's basically what got them
The win, I
Yeah,
think.
basically, the crowd was all over Joe Cazana. Joe Cazana is majorly over. With this crowd, he was anyways. I mean, they were yelling Colonel Sanders, KFC,
Now
everything they could
there
at
was
him.
that one guy that appeared ringside,
Frank Taylor, or
Frank
I'm
Taylor.
sorry, Tyler Frank.
See, they shouldn't call the other guy Frank.
if they're gonna have another Frank. Come
Well, they have
on.
so much talent from all of the territories, so the
So
crowd
much.
is all over Joe Cazana. Joe Cazana walks up to Tyler Frank and dumps a bag of Cheetos on the dude's head. Just dumps them right over his head. Just such a jerk
Can't
thing to
do
do.
that.
It is identified
Can't do that.
that Tyler Frank is a talent from the territories. I'm going to say Crossfire, because this is what ties
Yeah.
all these segments together that they've
Right.
been filming with the territory headquarters and Joe Cazana laying down the law of the good book and everything. So he dumps these Cheetos out on his head and gets involved with the match. Well, Frank leaves the crowd and he comes up and gives old Joe Cazana one of them shots. And if you're listening on audio, Knighton would call it the mommy daddy button, if you remember from previous podcasts. So he hits him right in the mommy daddy button.
Yeah.
It's no
Yeah.
good for Joe. This was a great match. We get the ending with an ankle lock from Slade. I love Slade. Something about Slade. He's just a badass, right? And Mike
Yeah.
Mondo just seems to go with him really well. I'm glad these guys get the win. I love the booking of this Crockett tournament so far.
Yes.
I think the right
Yes.
people are advancing on. And this is a fresh new tag team. And I know they got a lot of tag teams, but these guys just click, and they weren't really doing much in singles. So I'm really enjoying this as they get the win here.
I agree.
Well,
I mean, there's not much to say.
yeah, I
Other
mean
than
it was a good match. It might have been, I don't know, the next match was really good, but this,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this was my match of the night. The Country
Okay.
Gentleman and Joe Cazana against Mike Mondo and Slade. Mondo,
Slade,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
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 Excellent
What
match.
did you say? I thought you said Mondo.
I said Mondu or something like that, right?
Oh,
Mondu,
okay.
like the drink. Isn't that a drink or something? I don't know.
No, no.
Look, I'm still getting in the thick of things with NWA,
Yes,
but I'm pretty
yes.
much doing better on this, learning this roster though. It is very entertaining. It's
Well,
so
in the Crockett
fresh and
Cup, you've
different from
got tag
AEW and
teams that
WWE.
don't, they're normally singles, so you don't necessarily know to say their names together.
Yeah, yeah. And I get tongue tied a lot. I mean,
That's all.
Knighton would just give me hell if he was on here. We need to get Knighton back on here.
Yeah, we
We're
do.
gonna hound the hell out of Knighton. He's gonna get
Okay.
back on here. Hell, we'll
I'll
have
just spam him. I'll just,
yes, yeah. Just yeah.
Nike,
I had to
where are
call him
you?
one day. I was like, "Don't make me call you," and I called him. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" I'm like, "I just hadn't heard from you in a while."
NWA.
Yeah. NWA was going on. He knows it's on Roku. He's excited. He was excited about it when we talked about it. Let's
Uh,
move on to
I,
what
I
I
love that
think.
they're on Roku because it's so much more accessible to
Yeah,
so many more people.
the production is great too. I'm really enjoying it on
Yes.
Roku. I think it's better on Roku than it was CW.
Yes. And you still have kind of that old, like,
Like we're in an old gymnasium
Right.
feel.
Yeah,
Like we're
kind of an indie
still,
feel in some shows. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
remember that.
I love that feel.
Yeah, I think that was one of the shows that we reviewed where we had Zack Ryder on. Zack Ryder was the commissioner for the night, and they filmed it in I don't know if it was a high school gym or what, but it was Battle of the Territories or something like that, when all the
Oh,
territories were
yeah.
competing against each other. And that is a perfect segue of what I want to talk about. What is this segments that we keep seeing every week from Joe Kazana and the NWA territories? What is it building to? Like I said, I've been scratching my head, watched the first episode. What is this going to build to? I think I know
Yeah.
what it's going to build to. It's going to build to a rivalry between JCP, Joe Kazana Promotions, and Crossfire. They both are very, very close to each other. JCP travels a lot in the eastern Tennessee area. So does
Okay.
Crossfire. Crossfire is in Sevierville and areas close by, Pigeon Forward, all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
And then you have JCP, another NWA territory that's over here in the east, Clarksville, and some of these other places, Knoxville on occasion. So
Oh,
they're very, very close to each other. You have two territories. You could really build a rivalry between these two on camera, and that would transfer into what I was talking about last week, their business model. Their business model, where they make big money, is their shows. Their shows are selling out. This Crockett Cup, I believe, was close to a sellout, if not a sellout. So they're
there was a
doing very
good
good.
crowd.
They're doing very good gate numbers. Yeah, the crowd was very lively. You heard them all over Joe Kazana. They were into every match that we've watched, and they were even more into this match. Kylie Page taking on Markova
Oh,
in a no limits match. Basically, anything goes. No DQ, no count out kind of
right.
match.
Right.
Excellent match, and the ending to me was awesome. When Markova puts the table up and puts her through the table, I just thought that was awesome. I was like, holy shit, that the ending, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
she's got such a little frame, and for her to put her through the table, I thought was very gutsy. At the end of the match, she has the blood coming down. It is obvious that they are going to make her the next big thing. She's been
Yeah.
working her ass off. She had
Yes.
plenty of matches against Camille. She's been in NWA forever. She's put in the work. You
Yeah.
see her at all these autograph signings. She's always working her ass off. And I believe that she might be the one to take it off Kenzie Page at NWA 77. That's
I can
just my
see that.
thoughts. Could be
I can
wrong.
see
Kenzie
that
Page
because
has held that title for a long time.
I literally, my next sentence was gonna be, hasn't Kenzie Page held this a while?
A very, very
And
long time.
I feel like they're finally pushing somebody new who has the talent and kind of the star power. I
Right.
don't know how else to describe it. But
Yes.
she's good on camera. She knows how to hold a mic. She can,
you know, kind of checks all the boxes, and she's
really good at it. And
Her English is getting better where it's like,
mhm,
you can, she doesn't have to be the best promo in the world to get over. It's her entering skills and the stuff that she did here where she puts Kylie through the table. And, we're bragging about her, but I'll tell you what, Kylie Page, holy shit, she worked her
yes,
ass off in this match.
she
I
really
want to
did.
say this is, I
I
have wrote down here, this was a great quick match because it wasn't a
Yeah,
very long match, but it was very good. I like that they kept it somewhat short, but long enough. Great ending. Great way to push Markova, the person who's going after the NWA women's title next. And what better person to put her over against than the younger sister, a girl that she's about to go against, Kinsey,
I
at NWA
actually
77.
when they said Kylie, I was like, wait, isn't it Kenzie? Because just the style.
of both of them has it's very similar now. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like
Before it wasn't like in previous seasons. And now that they have them kind of working so closely together, very visibly on the screen, um,
Right.
I I was completely impressed with how they
Yep.
did that whole storyline. And I mean, they're weaving some stuff here that I'm like, oh, look at the storyline.
and
Right.
it's been really, really fun.
And we're only 2 episodes in.
And I dig the idea. Like, if it turns out the way I think it's going to turn out with the JCP against Crossfire Promotions, that's Kinsey Page's promotion, and of course Joe Kazana owning Joe Kazana Promotions.
Right.
Um, I think that is going to be great, and hopefully they put it on Power. It's not just one of those things that you have to go
Oh
see or
man.
whatever. But I
Yeah.
think that's what it's building to. We're getting Crossfire against JCP. I think you're going to get a series of events, or they may save it for the territory show where they put all the territories on there.
Right.
Um, but that is what I'm probably most interested after this show.
Man, I would drive
Markova
to go
really
see
getting the
that.
build. Yeah, let's just review it real quick before we get off here.
Yeah.
Kalos and Daisy Kill getting the win. We got the new tag team, Mondo and Slade. They're
Yeah.
getting the win. They're exciting new tag team. We did a lot of Joe Kazana and Kinsey
Lot of
Page
Joe
teases.
Savannah.
They both own
Yeah.
promotions that are close to each other in Tennessee. That's what I believe that is building to. We were reminded that Carson
That's a good
Drake,
call there.
yes, and Carson Drake talking about how he needs this rematch against Brian Idol and pleading his case. And then just the huge build for Markova, just really putting her over big and making her feel like a big thing heading in to NWA 77.
For
So
sure.
far, everything seems very polished and good. I mean, I can nitpick a few little things here and there. I'm not going to this week. I'm in a great mood. I thought this was a great episode too. I'm not going to
I
crap on
really
it.
enjoyed it. Did you happen to
Logan will
catch
find
the
something.
I'm
We're gonna
sure.
have to get with Logan and ask him what's
Oh,
up. But
absolutely. Logan, what's the bad stuff?
yes,
Did you catch the brackets? The new brackets?
yes, very very briefly, but I didn't get a chance to write them down in my notes. I didn't.
No, I kept thinking they were going to go over it again, and they never did. That's my negative. There you go. I don't know who Talos is going up against next.
Right. Like maybe put it on screen, leave it on
Yeah,
there. Keep reminding us of that as well. Hit
yeah,
us over the head. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes stuff like, hey, if you missed this, this is what happened.
right.
It's the recaps I'm really enjoying. I hope NWA keeps doing the recaps. Please, please, please,
I
please.
was surprised how much I liked the recaps.
You would see a match happen on Power, then the next week you wouldn't hear about either talent for like 2 or 3 weeks, and that was a huge complaint, really, of
Yeah,
mine. But now you're continuing Carson Drake and Brian Idol. You're
yeah.
continuing the Pages feud with Joe Kazana, but you're also continuing the feud between the Pages basically and
Mm,
Markova. So you have a lot of things turning and everything, and I'm interested to see the debut of Rhino. They keep teasing as well.
Yeah.
And you have Alex Hammerstone also coming in. That's kind of exciting.
Yes.
He's big name, was the champion forever in MLW, and has done a lot of stuff in TNA recently. But that dude's jacked up. You know what I'm talking about, right? Alex Hammerstone.
I don't.
Oh, he's huge. He faces Thrillbilly in the weeks to
Okay.
come, basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Rhino I recognized.
Obviously, yeah.
Um
Rhino, a legend, yes. Yeah,
um
been around forever.
which, every time there's like some obscure wrestler that I'm like, "Oh, I know that one." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I know more about this than I thought I did." So,
Yeah,
it's but I'm so excited for this Roku era. I'm
I
so
am too.
excited to see what they do next week. Um, if anybody from NWA watches, you guys are doing great. Keep it up.
Good job. Good job by the editing team and, of course, the roster always working their asses off.
For sure.
Great episode, too, Katie. I want to thank you for being on. Hey,
Thanks for having
you
me.
know, before we get off, you know where I'm going to this Friday? It's the Rumble Jack.
Is
Who's going to
it
be involved with
really?
the Rumble Jack at
Oh
Southern Honor?
man.
You may see
I
some NWA talent show up. As a
I
matter
wish
of
you
fact,
could
if
go
I see any
live.
NWA talent, I might do that. I might go live. If I see any NWA talent, I'm taking pictures of and putting them on the NWA page. Uh,
Absolutely.
Anybody that watched this, thank you very much. We're going to have some contests coming up to get some more subscribers, to get everything booming in here. And keep watching us, spread the word, share, like, do anything to give us
Subscribe.
feedback. Yes, please subscribe. Thank you for being on tonight, Katie. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Trey. It's always fun.
We'll see you next time.